Boom! We are live. What is going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to the Max Van Auken Podcast. If you're checking it out on YouTube, thank you as well. Subscribe to both platforms. The last time I'm going to advertise it, maybe towards the end. But I had an incredible week. Honestly, the week of my life. There's not too many times you could say that, and it's actually true. A lot of people hyperbolize a lot of things like, best thing ever, best this ever. And it's really not. It's really not the best ever. But I can honestly say this was probably one of the greatest weeks. Well, I know it is. One of the greatest weeks of my entire life. So that's why I've been out of the studio a little bit this week. But I'm here. I'm in the studio. And a lot of podcasts are about to drop. A lot of content. But I do want to get into it. So if you're a loyal listener to the podcast, or if you're a first-time listener, everyone knows my dreams, my aspirations, my goals are to be on Fox Sports and be on the biggest platform and express my love and my opinions for sports. It's my absolute goal, my absolute dream is to do that. So I had the opportunity one day, I'm waking up, I'm getting ready for work, and Rashad calls me. Rashad Phillips, he was just on the herd. He's been on the herd multiple times. And we go to the Magic games together. In case you guys don't know the relationship, he's like family. He's a mentor to me. I actually met him. I reached out to him. I wanted him on my former podcast. Had him on. Had a terrific time. Really had some great conversations. And then I would cover the Orlando Magic. He covers the Orlando Magic. So we would see each other at these games. And I told him, hey, I'm going to pick your brain. I'm going to pick your brain. I talk a lot. I'm going to pick your brain. And he said, of course. So I would just ask 1,000 questions during these games and learn as much as possible. I always like to learn. So we built a relationship over time. Had him on the podcast again. He was my first episode on my podcast I created, the Max Van Auken Podcast. And ever since then, he's like family. He's a mentor to me. So he over time, he knew what my goals were, what my dreams are. And I get a call from him one morning and say, hey, you're coming to L.A. I was like, what? He's like, you're coming to L.A. I said, what do you mean? And he said, yeah, I'm going to be on the herd. I'm going to be on the Odd Couple, Chris Broussard, Rob Parker. You're coming with me. And I said, wait. What do you mean? And he's like, you're coming with me. I was like, are you serious? I'm like, are you serious? Are you serious right now? I couldn't stop saying, are you serious? Because I was just speechless. I was blown away by somebody that, of course, I love, have much respect for, but is willing to take me on this journey with him. And because this was all about Rashad. He nailed everything he did. He freaking killed it on the herd, killed it on the Odd Couple. So much love and respect to him. This was his trip, but he pulled me up with him, and he supported his friend. That's his whole thing, support your friends. And he didn't have to do that. So I was just blown away, and I'm like, of course, I'm going to make it work. Tell me the date, I'll make it work. So he gives me the date. We fly out there, and it was everything and more. Everything and more. I got to go meet Colin Coward. Well, we were in Colin Coward's dressing room. He ran in and out, but he had tons of energy, tons of positive energy, and you could just tell how passionate he is about everything, about what he does. And it was just such a great environment that you could tell people love to go there to work. People love to work there. So then I got to go on the set and watch Rashad do his thing, and he absolutely killed it with his football analogy to Patrick Mahomes, to Trae Young, to Ja Morant. So he nailed it, and we were going over some things in the car, and he nailed it. So then we go back, and we go to the Odd Couple. I think that's in Sherman Oaks. I'm not too sure about my geography over there in Los Angeles. I'm just learning the ropes here. But we go over there. That's where Fox Sports Radio is. And I had an opportunity to meet Chris Broussard, actually, back over at the other facility. Met Chris Broussard, very nice. Said he's been watching the stuff, and world-class dude. So the trip was just unbelievable. Got to go to the Odd Couple, meet Rob Parker, meet Chris Broussard, watch Rashad again do his thing, absolutely killed it. It was just A+ all around. I had high expectations going into it because it is my dream. That's my dream, is to be there, is to continue pushing, continue grinding, but I always want to share my thoughts and my love for the sport, for sports, through the best platform. Not necessarily, it's not always about being the biggest. Now, Fox Sports, in my opinion, is the biggest, but it's not always about being the biggest. It's about the right fit, the good environment, the good culture, the good management. And I always heard it, but now I got to experience it firsthand. Fox Sports, I spoke to their producers, and from management to the producers to the talent, just A-class people all around. A-class people all the way around. And it was everything I could expect and more. And I couldn't thank Rashad enough. Could not thank him enough. He said, thank me through your podcast. Continue grinding. That's how you could thank me. So I said, of course, of course. So it was an absolute honor. A lot of people doubted me for this podcast. A lot of negative energy towards this podcast. Actually, if you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, I kind of talked about it. So to have that and to breathe that, to feel it, to see it, to have it come to fruition. Hey, this is Fox Sports. It was surreal, but it gave me more confidence. I know I can do this. Like, I know I could do this. And I just soaked up a bunch of knowledge like a sponge. Just soak up as much as you can from every single person and apply it and mix it and put your own twist on it. And that's where you get the Max Van Auken Podcast. So just wanted to share that with you guys. But I do want to start off with this. As you guys know, I predicted the Golden State Warriors to win in 6, right? You have to admit when you're wrong sometimes. I was wrong. But I do not count out the Warriors. Do not count out the Warriors. Everyone wants to go Toronto right now. Everyone wants to go Toronto. And if you had to bet your money, most people would say go for Toronto. They're up right now. Game 6 is tonight. I'm recording on what is today? I think today is a Thursday. So most people think Toronto. Kawhi Leonard, they match up extremely well with Golden State. Danny Green, Siakam, Gasol, Ibaka. They have tons of length, tons of size. They really are. Everything that the Golden State struggles with is what the Raptors excel in. Depth, length, and size right now. Golden State is lacking depth, length, and size. So Toronto is the safe bet. But I'm going with the Warriors in 7. I would not count out the Warriors in 7. You have the heart of a champion is something that you can't measure analytically. You can't measure it on the TV. Like, it's just something that you have through going through adversity, from coming back from a 3-1 from Oklahoma City Thunder. It's something they're going to 5 straight finals. You build this resilience, this toughness that the Golden State Warriors have. They have that. They may not have Kevin Durant right now. And that injury, we'll get into that injury. They may not. DeMarcus Cousins isn't DeMarcus Cousins right now. Iguodala is older. He is banged up. But it's the heart of a champion. Do not count out the Warriors in 7 games. Do not count out the Warriors in 7 games. You heard it here first. Golden State can win this series. Golden State can absolutely win this series. With Steph Curry as the finals MVP, with Klay Thompson playing playing defense and hitting the 3 balls, he showed up big time in Game 5. Do not count out the Golden State Warriors. I'm telling you right now, do not count them out. Because the Golden State Warriors have something the Toronto Raptors don't have. Experience on that championship level. This is the first appearance for the Toronto Raptors. Now, they're playing great basketball. Kawhi, everyone knows their role. Great basketball. But that's just not something you can just go in the gym and work on. That's something you have to be in that atmosphere and feel that championship experience. And the Golden State Warriors have that championship experience. If they win Game 6, which I think they will, if they go to Game 7, it's hard to bet against the Golden State Warriors in 7 games. In a Game 7, it's hard. It's hard. I took LeBron over them because that's LeBron. But it's hard to bet against Golden State in Game 7. And what both teams have proved also is that home teams don't matter right now. Both teams are winning on the road. Both teams are winning at home. This is a true series. It's a true testament of a battle of attrition. It's who wants it more. The Toronto Raptors are healthier, but the Golden State Warriors, like I said, have the experience. And I think they can rattle the Toronto Raptors. If they win Game 6, that momentum, that, hey, we're not gone. We're not gone. It's not that easy. And you're going to have to beat us to really beat us. You're going to have to close this series out because the Golden State Warriors are not done. And now with Kevin Durant injured, they're playing for Kevin Durant. They're playing for Kevin Durant. You saw how choked up Steph Curry was. This team is playing for Kevin Durant. Hey, we're winning this for you, big bro. We're winning this for you. Telling you, do not count out the Golden State Warriors. But what is interesting is I was talking to Rashad about this, is it's very sad. It's unfortunate that Kevin Durant got this injury. You never want to see that with any athlete, on any person. You never want to see someone injured because it's awful. It's sad. This guy dedicates his whole life to the game, puts in countless hours of work that we don't see. We just see the product. But what goes into it is behind closed doors. No lights. Blood, sweat, and tears. You don't just get that good without putting in the work. You can be talented, but you have to put in the work. And Kevin Durant does that. That's why he's the best in the world. So it's extremely sad. But I think people are failing to realize how special this makes Kawhi. Because Kawhi Leonard had an incident where he was injured. The doctors cleared him. Hey, you're good to play. We do need you. You're good to play. He said, no, I'm not playing. I have my own doctors. I know my body better than anybody. I'm not playing. And the media went crazy. San Antonio went crazy. Oh my God, he's running away. He's awful. How can you not play through that? You're not tough. Where is he right now? He's in the finals. He's for a different team, but he's in the finals and he's healthy. Relatively healthy. I think he has a tendency to be injury prone. It's not his fault. It's just his body. But he's in the finals right now, and San Antonio's not. San Antonio's not. Kawhi knew his body, and he didn't succumb to the pressure of the media, to the people around him, to the people that were in his ear saying, you need to play, you need to play. He didn't. He stood his ground. He said, no, I know my body. He's not very verbal, but obviously his actions show, no, I'm not playing. Kevin Durant, again, extremely unfortunate that he got injured, but I feel the pressure, the outside media, the people saying, the reports that they're confused, the teammates were confused whether or not he's going to play or not. He felt all the pressure in the world to play. Now, do I applaud him? Yeah, he's tough. He wants to play. This is his life. It's unfortunate he got injured, but I believe he succumbed to the pressure, the media, the critics, the people saying you're not invested in Golden State, the people that said you're not that tough. See, you are soft. And that all went through his mind, and he played. And he played. And Jalen even said it. He didn't have a great warm-up. They showed him hitting some jump shots. He's 7 feet and can shoot the ball amongst the best in the world. Of course he's going to hit some jump shots in the warm-ups. But when Rashad and I were talking about it, those quick twitch muscles, that's what you need, the quick twitch muscles to explode past somebody, to make a move, to explode to the rim. That's not something you can replicate in warm-ups unless you're pushing yourself like that. And he wasn't. He dunked. Yeah, he shot some jump shots. And he had a great first quarter. He can shoot the ball. He's the best scorer. But that quick twitch muscle is something that you need to allow to fully recover, or else it creates other injuries, such as the torn Achilles. So prayers up for Kevin Durant. I hope he has a speedy recovery. But I'm not trying to get on him here, but he succumbed to the pressure of the media and to the critics that he needs to play or he's weak. And somebody like Kawhi Leonard said, no, I'm not. I know my body. Say whatever you want about me. I know my body. I'm not playing. And Kawhi Leonard is here in the finals, and he's healthy. And now Kevin Durant has a more serious injury than what it originally started with, a calf strain. Now it's a torn Achilles. That and tearing your ACL is the worst injuries you can get in basketball. And typically, the bigger you are, the worse it gets. Look at DeMarcus Cousins. He's a shell of himself right now. He's a shell of himself. That's a very hard injury to recover from, especially when you're bigger and your joints are bigger, your muscles are bigger. 7 feet with a torn Achilles and all the stress you put on your ligaments during basketball, that's tough. I think he'll bounce back. He's highly skilled, 7 feet, can shoot. But will he be Kevin Durant 100%? We may never see 100% Kevin Durant again. We may see 90%. We may see 92%. But a torn Achilles is one of the worst injuries you can get as an athlete, especially in basketball. And I hate to see that he played because he has heart. So again, you want to applaud him. The public applauds him for coming back and playing because he's tough. He wants to play. He's invested in this. But I feel like he didn't necessarily think about how this can affect his whole career. And now free agency's Free agency's crazy, right? You got to think that he wants to opt in. If I'm Kevin Durant, I want to opt in. You don't want to go to the Knicks and you have all of that load to carry because you don't have Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, DeMarcus Cousins. So you're probably not going to make the playoffs because he's probably not going to play next season. So now you're going into 2 seasons away from now is when you're playing, and that's when you're 2 years older now. I think he stays. And I think not only does Kevin Durant stay, I think this puts Klay Thompson, and we spoke with Rashad about it, this puts Klay Thompson in the driver's seat. He has all the leverage right now. Everyone wants to talk about Steph Curry. Where does he rank all time? Is he going to finally get a finals MVP? Is Kawhi Leonard the best player in the world? But Klay Thompson is the unsung hero right now because the Golden State Warriors need Klay Thompson. They need him more than ever. Not even just for this finals, but for next year, they need Klay Thompson. Because now, next year, Kevin Durant's out. Klay, we need you to drop 20-plus points per game. We need you to be the best defender in the league that you are. Him and Kawhi are up there. We need you to guard the best player and drop 20-plus points every single night. We need you now. Kevin Durant is out. And he can say, I want my max money now. Now I have the leverage. I'm not going I'll leave if I don't get my max money, which is $191 million, I think, for like 4 or 5 years, something like that. And if the Warriors try to say, you know what, but we really want to make sure Draymond gets paid because we need him, Klay, leave. I think Klay will leave. I think Klay can leave. I think that is a strong possibility. I know he's a get-it guy. He has tons of self-awareness. But when you are a necessity and you're not getting paid like a necessity, any agent would tell you, go where you can get where you're valued more. I don't think he can actually make more money in Los Angeles. But he can receive as much as possible that the Lakers can offer him, and he's a necessity. LeBron would say, we need you. You're dropping 20 a night. We need you. Here's the money. And if Klay leaves, the Warriors are in disarray. Now Draymond's getting paid max money. Now Draymond's getting overpaid. I love Draymond Green, but him getting overpaid will handicap the Golden State Warriors. Because now you have Kevin Durant, who's injured, Klay Thompson, who just left, probably to L.A., and now you have Draymond Green, who's a great player, but he's not a max guy, is going to make max money, and he's going to handicap the Warriors. So now what the Warriors were based on was the Splash Brothers, Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, how deep they were, strength in numbers, their motto, Kevin Durant, well, he's injured. Klay Thompson left. Their depth, no more bench, it's depleted. And now Draymond Green's going to get overpaid. This is a really likely scenario. This is a likely scenario that can happen. But I know everyone's tied up into the Kevin Durant injury, but how this affects the Golden State Warriors is far greater than just that injury. How it affects free agency is far greater than just that injury. Because now Klay Thompson can go in there and say, I want my money. I want my money. I've taken pay cuts. I've been the fourth talked about guy, but we've won multiple championships. Now you need me more than you've ever needed me. I want my money. And Golden State is a very smart franchise, but they want to keep as many as they can, strength in numbers. And Klay Thompson, it's a strong possibility he will walk. He'll go to L.A., Draymond will receive max money, and Draymond will handicap the Golden State Warriors. He will handicap the Golden State Warriors. Now, if Klay goes to L.A., that's an immediate championship contender right there. With Kevin Durant out, even if LA just lands Anthony Davis, they're a championship contender. I think Vegas just immediately released the odds because he's a heavy favorite to go to LA, that they're the second favorite, 5-1 to win the title. If Klay goes to LA with Kevin Durant out, with Klay away from the Warriors, with Draymond receiving max money as he's getting older, with Houston having a terrible contract with Chris Paul, the Lakers are a serious title contender. Klay Thompson is a perfect fit for LeBron James. Perfect. Not ball dominant, no ego, great perimeter defense, and the second greatest shooter in the league. The second greatest shooter in the league. And some nights, he's the best shooter in the league. To go alongside with Anthony Davis in the paint, great interior defense, finishes every single lob, once in a lifetime talent. To go alongside LeBron James. And if they can keep a young guy like a Brandon Ingram, like a Kyle Kuzma or Alonzo Ball, the Lakers will be a title contender. So all this disarray, all this disorganization and dysfunction in LA will get flipped just like that if they can land Anthony Davis, which they will, and a Klay Thompson. Now, don't get me wrong, they still need to clean things up in the front office, but the storyline and the narrative will switch instantaneously. Just boom, boom. Excuse me there. Getting a little excited now. I'm getting excited. So, Draymond Green handicapping the Warriors, Klay Thompson going to LA, and the Warriors winning in 7 are all possibilities. All possibilities that can happen. That can happen that no one wants to think about because Toronto should win, right? Klay is going to be a Warrior for life. Draymond Green wouldn't handicap the Warriors. I'm telling you, when you overpay a role player, and Draymond Green is a glorified role player because he's an amazing guy, amazing player, but he's not a max guy. He's not a max guy. So he would handicap the Golden State Warriors if he wants max money. I'm telling you, he would do it. Another thing that stands out to me, so I'm in LA watching interviews, right? Thinking I had plenty of time. I flew from LA flew from Orlando to LA. Then when I came back, LA to Texas, from Texas back to Orlando. Texas airport, by the way, is ginormous. I felt like I was in a maze. Anyway, and I saw RJ Barret had an interview saying, I'm not doing workouts for any other team. I want to be a Knick. This is where I want to play. And I heard Colin Cowherd, and he was talking to Rashad, that he could be a Rodney Hood with more confidence, right? A wing player, a perimeter scorer. That would be a nice NBA player. Not saying he's going to be an all-star, but that would be a nice NBA player. I think RJ Barret underachieves. I think Zion Williamson and Ja Morant will be amazing in this draft. And usually the 1 or 2 pick underachieves. So if both those picks live up to the expectations, which I think they will, RJ Barret will be the guy that steps down with expectations. I'm not sure if he'll be a Knick because they may include that in a trade. But RJ Barret, no matter where he lands, will underachieve. I really liked him in college, but when you look at his game, I feel like he doesn't have a lot of transferable skills to the NBA. I don't. I watched a lot of his tape, all the Duke games, and just looking at it, he will underachieve in the NBA. He will underachieve in the NBA. I don't see what everybody else sees with him. And he was a dynamic scorer in college, but we've seen a lot of dynamic scorers in college who can't translate that to the NBA. And I think he's one of those guys. I do. I think he's going to underachieve. So I think Cam Reddish has a higher ceiling than RJ Barret. I think he does. I think he has more transferable skills to the NBA, from college to the NBA, than RJ Barret. So I get when players want to say, I want to play for this team. I do understand that. But when you I'm not working out for anybody else, it makes sense if Zion Williamson does that. It could make sense if Ja Morant does that. I'm not the biggest fan of that. I'm not. And I have this theory where the players should choose where they play. So I understand where you want to have your voice heard where, hey, I want to play for this team. But if you're not necessarily in the position to always make that claim, I think it comes off wrong. It could be just me. But like I said, no matter what team he goes to, I believe RJ Barret will underachieve in this league. You can hold me to it. I feel pretty confidently about that one. Another one thing that I want everyone to realize is the Houston Rockets. So obviously the finals is Toronto Raptors, right? It's Golden State. Now Toronto may win it. Golden State I think they can win in 7. If Toronto wins it, this is the biggest wake-up call for the Houston Rockets. Even when they got slapped by the Golden State Warriors, this is a bigger wake-up call for them. And here's why. Because the Houston Rockets finally will have to look in the mirror or look in the television because you're not in the finals. You have to watch the finals after you got smacked by the Golden State Warriors. This is the same team. This is the same Golden State Warriors team that beat Houston. No Kevin Durant and not a healthy Boogie. Not a healthy Boogie. Same exact team. And they're about to lose to the Toronto Raptors. The Toronto Raptors are favorites to beat them. So how did they do it? Is it analytics? Because Kawhi's shooting a lot of mid-range shots. Is it small ball? Because Marc Gasol and Ibaka are having a big impact on this game. No, it's not. You don't beat the champs at what they're good at. You find your identity and you excel in that. You go strong in that. How did the Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Golden State Warriors? When they had Tristan Thompson, they were physical. They were bigger. They would rebound. They didn't beat him in small ball lineups. God. Marc Gasol and Ibaka are playing a big role in this series. Siakam's playing a big role in this series. Kawhi Leonard's hitting big mid-range shots. You don't beat the Golden State Warriors at what they're good at. This is a wake-up call for the Houston Rockets, and I'm telling you right now, Daryl Morey is going to look in the mirror, look in the television screen, because they're not in the finals after they got smacked by the Golden State Warriors, and he's going to think to himself, because he's a very smart guy, it's time to put the calculator down. It's time to not look at the analytics all the time. Get those sheets off your desk and say, what wins basketball games? Because now Golden State will be more vulnerable than ever, but they still will have a great shooter in Steph Curry, the greatest shooter of all time. It's time for them, and Daryl Morey, I believe, will do this. He will make different moves than we're used to seeing. Now, they don't have the most flexible roster right now, obviously, because they can't pay as much as LA. They can't pay as much as New York or the Clippers. And they have a terrible contract with Chris Paul, who aged extremely quickly. But I expect him to make some moves because he's very aggressive. Immediately said everyone's willing to be traded. Obviously, I don't think it's James Harden that's going to get traded. But I expect Daryl Morey to make key moves for this roster. Now, it may not get the highlights. It may not get the headlines, AD going to the Lakers, Kevin Durant going to the Knicks, or Kevin Durant staying to the Warriors. But what it'll do, it'll change the identity somewhat with this Houston Rockets team. Now, if they keep D'Antoni, of course it's going to be offensive-oriented, but maybe I think their style of play will change. I don't think necessarily it's always going to be running gun. I think their players will be a little different. I think they will be more physical. They're going to be longer, maybe a little bigger, because they haven't succeeded yet beating the Golden State Warriors at what they do. And if you keep repeating the same thing, expecting different results, you're insane. You're insane. So Houston Rockets, you need to wake up. Are you insane or are you smart? Will you evolve? Because you evolved with analytics, but now it's time to evolve again. It's time to evolve again. Analytics isn't doing it for you to beat the Golden State Warriors. Yeah, you can. James Harden could be MVP. You can have a great regular season, but we're all going to look at the Houston Rockets as they choked in the playoffs. They blew that lead against the Golden State Warriors, even when they didn't have Kevin Durant. So it's time to change the narrative, and I think Daryl Morey will make some aggressive moves. Maybe not steal the headlines, but he'll make some aggressive moves to reshape this roster and build it a little differently. I'm telling you, look out for Houston. Look out for Houston. I do want to shift gears very quickly to the UFC. So everyone knows I'm an MMA guy. A lot of my guests, Felicia Spencer, John Fitch, Abe Kawa, Alton Meeks, they're all MMA people, right? So I'm heavy into MMA. I think I like basketball more. It would be basketball, then MMA, and then NFL. So anyway, we have Dustin Poirier and Khabib Nurmagomedov. He's 27-0, just destroyed Conor McGregor. He wrestled bears when he was young. He is a scary, scary dude. He's not going to trash talk you, but he's going to look you into your soul and say, I will break you. He has the famous, like the Rocky line with Drago staring at Rocky saying, I will break you. Like, that's the type of aura that Khabib has. I'm going to grab you like you've never been grabbed. I'm going to put you on the floor, and I am going to beat you until you quit. And even when you quit, I'm going to continue to beat you. And I'm going to continue to maul you. And I'm going to make you suffer until you beg, and then I'm still going to keep beating you. I know that's intense, but that's why people fear fighting Khabib. That's why I knew he was a terrible matchup for Conor. My love for Conor over... Poor Conor. Anyway... So Khabib has that aura, and everyone now is paying attention to it. What he did to Conor McGregor gave mainstream fans awareness of how talented and how special Khabib is as a talent. But now, for the first time in Khabib's career, he's the one that has all the pressure. He's the one that's already looking towards Tony Ferguson and George St. Pierre. That's the fights that he wants. He said Dustin Poirier is not a big fight. He's looking for Tony Ferguson. He's looking for George St. Pierre. He's looking for those fights. It's not a Conor McGregor big fight where he had something to prove. They insulted his family. They insulted him. Conor McGregor threw a dolly at the bus. Everyone loved Conor McGregor. Everyone knew when he came back, all the mainstream fans, proper 12, Conor McGregor's going to win. And Khabib mauled him. He had something to prove. He jumped over the cage. He flew at Dildanis. He threw his mouthpiece. He had something to prove. The world was against Khabib. Everybody... Well, I mean, you love or hate Conor. He's polarizing. But everyone tuned in because Conor McGregor made his return. And Khabib's a phenomenal talent. But the mainstream guys, not the hardcore MMA guys, the hardcore MMA guys knew how talented Khabib was and how special he is. But the mainstream guys, the guys at the bar who don't normally watch it, hey, Conor McGregor's coming back. Oh my God. Oh my God. What is happening? What is happening? They got the Khabib effect. They got Khabib'd. He's fighting Dustin Poirier, and the whole world is expecting Khabib to maul him. The whole world. Whole world. And they're fighting, I think they're fighting in Dubai. And one thing Dustin Poirier said is, a reporter asked, how do you feel that you're going there and it's going to be predominantly all Khabib fans? It's like his hometown. And Dustin Poirier said, that's my life. That's what I do. That's my whole life. I've been counted out. I've been written off. Dustin Poirier can shock this whole world because Khabib's thinking Tony. He's thinking George St. Pierre, big fight, legacy fight. Dustin Poirier, not so much, not a big fight. I'm going to maul this guy. He wants something to prove. He wants a legacy fight. So the moment you take your eyes off somebody that's not that legacy fight is when they're the most dangerous. When George St. Pierre lost to Matt Serra, he took his eyes off Matt Serra. He probably didn't respect Matt Serra's power. Now, the second time he respected his power, he demolished Matt Serra. But the first time he got knocked out. Anderson Silva against Chris Weidman. This unbeaten streak, puts his hands down. Now, he had the freak accident when he kicked his shin the second time, but put his hands down, got clipped. He got clipped. I'm telling you right now, Dustin Poirier can shock this whole world. Can shock the whole world. He's a big lightweight, tons of momentum, great chin, tons of heart, and a lot of power. And he has a wrestling background. Trains out of American Top Team, one of the best gyms in the whole world. Dustin Poirier can shock this whole world and knock out Khabib. And I think I'm calling that upset right now. Dustin Poirier will shock the world and beat Khabib. Everyone loves Khabib, and I love a Khabib. He's amazing. 27-0, you don't just get that. You don't see undefeated records in MMA because the best fight the best. He wrestled bears. He mauls people. Tons of respect, tons of love for Khabib. But the whole world is gunning on Khabib. Everyone's betting on Khabib because what he did to Conor, what he's done to everybody. Dustin Poirier has nothing to lose, and he's counted out. He just came through a war with Max Holloway. Dustin Poirier will shock the whole world. He will shock the whole world because he has nothing to lose. Absolutely nothing. And my last point I want to touch on real quick about the UFC, Tony Ferguson, I tweeted out, his streak is unfreaking believable about the guys he's beat. And he never lost his title. He was an interim lightweight champion. But he got injured. The fight got canceled a lot with Khabib. So he comes back. He had some family issues. And he beats Donald Cerrone. He's beaten Edson Barbosa. He's beaten all the guys people don't want to fight and they put in front of him. Anthony Showtime Pettis. Beats him down. Beats him down. Because he's weird. He's different. All he thinks and moves and breathes and lives and eats is MMA. How does he get better? He's unique. He approaches the game differently. He fights differently. He has a chin. You don't know if he's going to do a flying knee bar. Tony Ferguson will be a lightweight champion. I don't know if that's against Khabib. I don't know if that's against Dustin Poirier. If it's against Conor McGregor, Tony Ferguson will be the lightweight champion again. 100%. He's one of those guys that he's flamboyant, but he's not polarizing to the point where people want to go to their television screen. Like he's an entertaining fighter, but he doesn't have the Conor McGregor mystique. He doesn't have the Khabib mystique. He doesn't have that I don't know what the exact word. He doesn't draw people. The ratings aren't exceptional with him per se. His fighting style is extremely entertaining, don't get me wrong. But Conor McGregor will get someone to a television screen. Brock Lesnar will get someone to a television screen. Ronda Rousey will. But Tony Ferguson will be a lightweight champion. He will be a lightweight champion. His body of work, his mental, his attitude, his mindset, his fighting style. He's not flashy. People don't necessarily always root for him. He's entertaining, but he's the dark horse that nobody wants to fight, and he will be a lightweight champion. 100% will be a lightweight champion. He will get his belt back. He will. So there you guys have it. I'm so happy to be back. I'm gonna have a lot of podcasts out this week. Next episode is gonna be a special one. So make sure you check me out: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Not on Facebook as much. Definitely Twitter and Instagram. Max Van Auken. Please subscribe. Tell a friend. rate it, leave a comment, whatever you want to do. I read it all. I interact with you guys, and the ratings have been phenomenal. So taking everything I learned, applying it to the podcast, continuing to grow, continue to learn. I hope you guys do the same. I appreciate you guys, and